Imagine putting $100,000 into the S&P 500 on January 1, 2000. 10 years later, you'd have about 91,000. That's not a typo. That's a decade of patience, punished. Wall Street has a name for it. They call it the lost decade. 10 full years where the most trusted index in the world went sideways and slightly down. 2 crashes. 1 housing bubble. The collapse of a 150-year-old investment bank. And a generation of investors who learned, the hard way, that buy and hold doesn't always mean buy and prosper. But here's what's strange. A small group of investors didn't just survive this decade. They thrived. And the third thing they did differently is the lesson most people still get wrong today. By March of 2000, the Nasdaq hit 5,048. Tech stocks were doubling on press releases. People quit their jobs to day trade. Sound familiar? Then came the bill. By October 2002, the Nasdaq had crashed to 1,114. A 78% decline in 31 months. Cisco, the most valuable company in the world at one point, fell almost 90%. Pets.com raised $300 million in its IPO. 9 months later, it was bankrupt. Webvan. eToys. Drcup.com, names you've probably never heard of, because they vanished. The painful part? Most of these weren't bad businesses. Some were. But many were good ideas at insane prices. And that's the first lesson: a great company at a terrible price is still a terrible investment. But the dot-com crash was just the warm-up act. By October 9, 2007, the S&P 500 had clawed its way back to 1,565. Investors exhaled. The lost decade, they thought, was just a tech stock problem. It wasn't. In September 2008, Lehman Brothers, a 158-year-old investment bank, filed for bankruptcy. The largest bankruptcy in American history. Within 6 months, the S&P had fallen to 676. A 57% drop, from peak to trough. Think about that math. If you own $100 of stock in October 2007, by March 2009, you had 43. To get back to even, you didn't need a 57% gain. You needed a 130% gain. And here's the gut punch. Even after the recovery rally in 2009, an investor who bought the index on the first day of the decade was still down about 9%, with dividends reinvested. 10 years. Negative return. The longest stretch of underperformance for the S&P since the 1930s. So what did the patient few do differently? While most investors watched their portfolios bleed, a small group made the lost decade one of their best. Start with Warren Buffett. Berkshire Hathaway shares, Class A, opened the decade at around $56,100. They closed 2009 at about $99,200. Roughly 77% total return in a decade when the index lost money. How? 3 things. 1. He didn't pay bubble prices. While everyone was buying Cisco at 180 times earnings, Buffett was sitting on cash. Boring. Patient. Disciplined. 2. When the panic hit in 2008, he leaned in. He put $5 billion into Goldman Sachs at terms most investors will never see in their lifetime. 10% dividend, plus warrants. He wrote in the New York Times in October of that year. Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. 3, and this is the one most people miss, he diversified across asset classes that nobody was watching. Gold, which most investors ignored, returned around 278% during the decade. Emerging markets returned over 150%. Even long-term treasury bonds returned about 80%. Here's the thing nobody tells you about the lost decade. The market didn't fail. Investors did. The S&P 500 started the decade at a price-to-earnings ratio of around 44. 44. Historically, the long-term average is around 15 to 17. That's not investing, that's hoping. By 2009, that ratio had compressed back to a normal range. The math had to correct itself. And dollar cost averaging? It actually worked. An investor who put $100 a month into the S&P from January 2000 to December 2009 ended the decade with a small positive return. Roughly 13% total. Not great. But not zero. Because they bought more shares when prices were low. The lesson isn't that buy and hold is broken. The lesson is that buy and hold at any price is broken. Valuations matter. Diversification matters. And patience without discipline is just hope dressed up in a suit. There will be another lost decade. Maybe not the next 10 years. Maybe the 10 after that. Markets are cyclical, and so is human emotion. The investors who survived 2000 to 2009 didn't have a crystal ball. They had three things. They paid attention to price. They diversified beyond their home country and their favorite asset class. And when fear took over, they bought, while everyone else sold. That's not luck. That's a system. And a system is what beats a decade. So here's my question for you: if the S&P 500 returns zero over the next 10 years, what would you do differently right now? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every one. And if today's video changed how you think about long-term investing, hit subscribe. We publish a new lesson every single day. Tomorrow, we're tackling something nobody on Wall Street wants to talk about: the one chart that predicted both the 2000 and 2007 crashes. You won't want to miss it. Remember, this is educational content, not financial advice. Always do your own research before investing a single dollar.